Hello and welcome to the first class, the room right next door. I am super duper excited. I have these like giggly feelings throughout my body. You can call them butterflies. That's probably a better word than giggly. The fays are here. So let's just take a moment, close down our eyes. We're just going to invite them into the space a little bit further or a little bit closer to us. So just taking a deep breath. And just allowing the breath to relax your body. And I would love for you to visualize yourself surrounded with pure white, glittery light. And this glittery white light is cleansing and balancing your energy field. And as it does so, take your awareness down to your feet. And now just visualizing beautiful tree roots growing into Mother Earth. Just keeping you here in this space, anchored in and grounded. And we will call upon the fairy beings that have only mastered true and unconditional love to be here. Inviting in the fairies that are here to support us on our own individual journeys. And just taking a deep breath in as you return back to the space and open up your eyes. Great. Hope you're feeling a little bit more grounded as I am. The butterflies have kind of dissipated, which is really nice. All right, so the room right next door. So I really wanted to share this because I wanted to share that there is much more than what we can see with our physical eyes. I know I do touch on this in more depth in the next class, but I just wanted to bring it back into the space so they all kind of link and connect as everything else in this reality does. And what had happened many, many years ago was that we were all once connected. We all knew the importance of each other being, whether physical in form or whether etheric. We knew each being had a purpose in this reality to support either us or Mother Earth. But in all, if you were to look at it, it all supports everyone, whether it's just for our individual journeys may then go ahead and support Mother Earth's journey, or may support other people and their journeys, which in turn supports Mother Earth. So we're all here for different reasons and different purposes. And that is including the Fae. They are here for different reasons and different purposes. One of their main missions and main purpose on Earth is to support humanity in remembering our connection to all that is, reminding us that we are part of the nature kingdom. We are part of Mother Earth. We are Mother Earth in essence. And although we don't look like Mother Earth, this big planet, everything that's living here and non-living, so etheric beings, are all part of this great, if you wish, mission or this journey together in remembering our connection to all that is, and in turn will support us in our return back home. So the Fays had actually chosen to incarnate, even though they're not physical, here on planet Earth to support in this mission, to support in the ascension of this planet, the shifts, and support in many other ways. So I'm going to go into this a little bit more. So This planet is full of so many different dimensions, and it took me a very long time to actually figure out what each dimension referred to. And I remember a few years ago, people were talking about, oh, we're ascending to the fifth dimension. I was like, okay, you can say that, but what is the fifth dimension? Like, what's a fourth dimension? What's the third dimension? Like, how many dimensions are there? And I always say this as well. Number one, take what resonates with you, leave what doesn't. Number two, um, feel into what is true for you. Like, don't just take people's information and say, yes, that's true because that person said it. See, it's best always experienced, right? So if we go back into the dimensions, the first dimension, so dimensions hold consciousness. It's not necessarily relating to, but does have a correlation to physicality. So the first dimension is your mineral kingdom. This is your soil, your rocks, your crystals. So the consciousness of this, so it's obviously physical, right? We can touch it, we can feel it. We know it's physically there. But the consciousness of this is that it's starting to experience itself in the physical reality. It has no judgment. It doesn't know, like, it doesn't feel into or choose or project what's right and wrong. It just is. All right. Then we go into the second dimension. Now, the second dimension houses the plant kingdom, the trees, the flowers. Flowers are a bit interesting because they do raise in frequency as well because their essence are really, really high. They're very high frequency. Even though they're physical in form, they have a little bit more, not more consciousness is not the right word, but more awareness of their surroundings. They now understand that, the rebirth cycle. They understand that there's death and rebirth and growth and evolution. They understand that they are here as well for a purpose, right? But they still don't go into the space of right and wrong, light and dark. They are also just experiencing this with new awareness. In the third dimension, we're still physical in form, of course, but the third dimension is home to the animal kingdom. Now, the animal kingdom is, of course, physical. We can see them, touch them, hear them, so forth, so forth. And they contain all the ones. So they're not, so sorry, let me just backtrack. So the consciousness of the third dimension beings, which is the animal kingdom, is very much understanding now there's, like, some fear, right? They need to survive, right? They need to eat or they'll be eaten. And so it starts to invite not necessarily like negativity. It starts to invite another perspective into this reality. And then the fourth dimension is meant to house a human kingdom. So there is much more in these dimensions. I will share that as well, of course, but I'm just going to try and keep it simple for the purposes of this workshop being the Fae Kingdom, and therefore I can go in then explain the Fae and where they reside. So we were still meant to be, well, we are physical in form, sorry, not still meant to be, but we had the ability, we were meant to have the ability to connect up to higher consciousness. We were meant to work through our karmic cycles. We were meant to support Mother Earth through her ascension and shifts, clear a lot of past life pain, and really be the shining light, like the shining mantle, the way showers, the healers, and some humans incarnated so they could work with healers to clear it, because the human life is actually quite short in terms of the cosmos. Like, I know it might not seem that short, but it is really short in terms of other beings and their lifespan. As we reach fifth dimensional consciousness, so this is where things start shifting and changing into a different type of number one form. So they are no longer physical in form, they are now etheric in form. Then we also have a different type of conscious awareness. So some of the beings that reside in the fifth dimension have incarnated on Earth. And to mention a few, we can go into Jesus Christ, Buddha, Saint Germain. There's a lot of Indian gods and goddesses that had incarnated and now are holding the space for people to follow in their path into remembering who they truly are, and that they are always connected to God, source, divine, whichever word you would like to, whichever word resonates with you. So they still stay quite close to the fourth dimension. And yes, they can choose to incarnate if they wish. Most of the time, they don't want to incarnate, or they don't want to shape shift into another being, but they will do that if it's necessary. If they're supporting, to say, for example, an individual on their own journey and something's happening, they will then incarnate or provide some signs to support them as to where they are or where they find themselves. In the sixth and seventh dimension, there are many other various beings. I'm not exactly sure who resides in the sixth dimension, but I understand that, as humans ascend and as we get into the sixth dimension, we then choose a different purpose, right? So things really start shifting. We understand that we are one with God and that we are also creators being part of God and are experiencing the creation, but not physical in form. This is now we're talking about being etheric, we're talking about being in spirit, we're talking about being a soul. In the seventh dimension, I know that is home to the angelic kingdom, so various angelic beings, and there are also many, many more beings out there. Now, when I speak about dimensions, not only in form, but in consciousness, it does not mean one is better than another. I want to make that very clear with you. It does not mean that we are better than the soil because we are at third and fourth dimension, where the soil is at the first dimension. Like, they're still learning how to do this stuff. Not at all. It's how the being had chose to present itself in physical form, and in turn really support this planet, to support Mother Earth in her ascension and evolution, as well as humanity. So what actually happened was that although humans were meant to reside in the fourth, due to the veils that were placed upon us, we went down to the third dimension and started to function from the space of fear. We had an understanding that we needed to survive as a being on this planet, and this is how we were going to survive. There became a lot of hatred. If anything, the way I kind of see it, and I hope this doesn't scare anyone, I feel like the human was really poisoned and not deceived, but really blinded from what was happening. And we had truly forgotten our connection to all that is, including the fairies. So I do like to say that because once upon a time, we did work very closely with the fairies. We understood what they were here for. Now, the fairies actually reside in the fourth to the seventh dimension. So they are not physical in form in this reality. They are etheric beings. Now, by saying that, the fourth dimension is the closest dimension to this third dimension reality, right? So they are super close to us. You can feel them. Energetically, if they want to be felt, number one, and number two, if you have that connection with them. But and we can hear them, sorry. Well, obviously we don't taste them. But they are very, very close with us. And then we've got the fifth, sixth, and seventh dimension. So what's the difference between those beings, right? Why are they residing in all different dimensions? And the reason, number one, is very similar to the human journey, is that it's based on their ascension. And it's also based on their own mission, their own purpose. So For example, if I was to refer to another being that had incarnated here on earth, Jesus Christ, he was physical in form. And then when he passed away, he ascended up to the fifth dimension, but decided to stay very close to the fourth dimension where human consciousness was starting to evolve to ascend to. So he wanted to keep being a guiding light for those beings who are in the fourth dimension to really flow up. I will also mention that heaven and hell are in the fourth dimension as well. The spirit world is in the fourth dimension. There's a lot of other beings in the fourth dimension. I won't go too much, but there's a lot of star beings in there too. So in the fifth dimension, 6 and 7, we have many different councils, fairy councils, yes, that help out with different things here on planet Earth that support other fae beings as well as humanity, as well as animals, as well as plants, the mineral kingdom, so forth, so forth, so forth. And so there's many different groups, if you wish, put out there, and you can call upon the individual groups if you wish. Or they might just come to you, or they might share things with you while you sleep, or if you do meditation, or if you channel, however it works for you. If you do any energy healing work, they might just flow to you and share what you need to receive at that point in time. So once again, just because they're fourth dimensional fairies doesn't mean they're better or worse than the seventh dimensional fairies. No, it's just to share their consciousness and their purpose that they're holding in this reality, in this where we currently find ourselves at this point in time. So in the fourth dimension, there is still that the lower fourth really is still that denser energy, right? How else to explain it? Lower fourth is very, very close to us, but all of the fourth is very close to us. But there can be the negative beings in there. There can be the attachments, the spirits or souls that haven't found the light and are still just wandering around aimlessly or haven't realized they had passed away. There's very many various beings. There's the Galactic Council in the fourth dimension, which is here to support humanity, but they're up in the upper fourth dimension. And our consciousness. So there's a lot of people that have been working on their own individual path, and they might be residing in the fourth dimension, right? So the fourth dimension houses physical and non-physical beings. So, okay. The purpose of the Fae are actually to support the first to the fourth dimension beings that reside in the first to the fourth dimension. And that's where you get all the different councils to support each different element. Like there might be one that supports a specific crystal. Just say rose quartz. There might be a council that literally supports rose quartz across the entire planet. That's how beautiful and magical it is. And that's how many beings there are out there. There are ones that support humanity on, like, you know, our own individual journey if we feel connected and resonate with the Fae. But the fourth dimensional fairies are still in that space of, they can be the more mischievous fairies. They can be more the cheeky fairies, the playfulness as well. But they wanted to stay very close to humanity. And the fairies are actually incarnated in the fourth dimension. And I read this in a book by Amanda Guggenheimer, and it's The 12 Hierarchies of Earth. And in specific, going into the Pan hierarchy where the fairies actually were birthed. Uh, she shares that the Fae in the fourth dimension had actually entered the karmic cycles here on planet Earth because they chose to incarnate so that they could be closer to humanity and to the nature kingdoms to support each being on its own journey. And when I read that, my heart was like, wow, like think about it. It's so beautiful. Imagine being loved so much that they were willing to enter into a karmic cycle just to support us, just so they, you know, slightly forgot, so they could understand humanity's journey. They could understand the animal kingdom's journey. They could understand the plant kingdom's journey. I think it's really, really beautiful. And so this is a reason why the Fae are somewhat really easy connect to, because they're really in this realm right next door to this physical reality. They're literally, if we're in the third, they're literally in the realm around us, ready for us to call upon them to support us on our journey to remembering who we truly are and our connection to all that is, which in turn will support theirs, which in turn will support this planet. I hope you enjoyed this beautiful workshop. I am going to leave it as that. I send you so many fairy kisses and blessings. We'll speak to you soon.